Good afternoon everyone, it's Rachel here and we are doing Whatever Wednesday, and this is something I'm making out of necessity. So I need to make a pouch for a journal that's going to a friend. So what I have here is this beautiful cut velvet, and Mum was saying, oh, why don't you make one with it's very simple. It's going to be very simple, but I have a few logical things that I need to work out. Mum said, why don't you make one with some quilt, cut a quilt, but I didn't have any pieces that were long enough because it's a document journal. So I need this to be a long pouch. So I'm debating whether or not to go down and get my sewing machine, or will I just simply do it by hand. So all I have to do is stitch around here and there, and then this is going to be my lining, I love it, my neutrals in linen, and I just thought it'd be nice soft colors with the pretty, I can't get my words out, with the pretty cut velvet. There you go, said it. So I've got to go around that side and that side, but what I want to do first, because I didn't measure anything, of course I just laid it on top. Now you'll notice that this is deeper than the other one, because what I want to do is roll it over the top to finish off the top. So I could even have not lined the pouch, but I just thought I might. And then I got this, and I'm trying to work out the logistics of this, because I want this. Well, let's stitch this first. So I think when I do it, we go down and get my, no, I'm not going to go down and get my machine. It's just too messy. I've got some thread here. Oh, I'll get a nice long piece. And I'm just going to do a little running stitch. I don't think I'm going to embellish the pouch because it's so pretty, but I may. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to. So I'm going to go over here a few times, even though it will be covered by the faux binding. And I'm just going to probably have to stab because it's very thick. Little stitches. And you won't be able to see the stitches because they're blending right in with the fabric. So I'll do a little bit and then maybe pause and then come back to do the rest. So you could do back stitch, but I'm doing my stitches, that's where the thread came out and that's where I'm coming up. I'm doing very tiny running stitches. Normally I do very tiny back stitch, but if you do your running stitch close enough, it should be fine. And it really shouldn't take me too long to stitch it. I'm sort of following the line here of the selvage of this fabric. I've got a bit of a rod of a needle. I don't know what type of needle it is. It was just an expensive pack of needles on Amazon. So how is everyone today? I hope you're well. I guess this is just an exercise in showing you a really simple way to make a pouch. If you want, you need something to put something in, like to gift. So I'm giving this, so I just need to get it going and get it done. But I'm going to box the corners as well, so I'll show you how I do that. I really can't see where my stitches are. thought I might get tangled if I did that. Let's see. There's a knot. Where is the knot? Oh, it's right here on the edge of my thread. That won't come out. So what I'll do is I'll slide it up and take it off. Just because those knots don't, you can't undo those ones where your tail tangles with the rest. You just can't get those undone. Maybe I'll start doing back stitch now. It'll be a bit faster. And yes, it is. So little stitches, otherwise you get big gaping sides. So really it can be reversible, the pouch as well, because I'll have a nice lining inside. I'm just going to keep a pin. I can see where it indents there. That's where I did my stitching. Because I will need to, what I'll do here then, when I'm stitching this, is, I probably should have done it that way. That way I can tell, I need to stitch. I can tell then where I need to stitch there, and I might even be able to draw it on. So that's what I want to show you, that bit too. Because as you know, I'm not a measurer. I'm an eyeballer. We used to say when we were little, I've just had a memory, I've had a flash, when we were at school. Did anybody else say this? Like when someone gave you a dirty look, we'd say, oh, you gave me the hairy eyeball. I don't know where that came from. Did we just make that up? Does anybody else say that? Is that totally weird? We used to say hairy eyeball. So very, as I said, very simple project. So that's probably where I'll go to. Not exactly the same seam allowances there, but it doesn't matter. So I need to go here and then come around the corner. It really doesn't take that long. I mean, clearly I would have them both stitched by now if I was using my sewing machine. But I haven't used it for a really long time. And who knows if it still works. I can see these stitches. My hand's getting tired, that's why I'm doing it that way. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll go along and do the rest. You see they're teeny tiny little stitches. And then I'll come back, I think. Let's see. But what I can already do, actually, and then I can stitch that one as well, is I can put this on. I just want to, which is the top? That's the top. So I want to just flip my pins on this side. Okay. Right, so what I can do here is I want this to sit inside, so I sort of need to, I'm going to put a marking here. That's where I want that. And then this doesn't matter. So then what I'll do is I can grab my quilter's ruler. Not that I make quilts, but I have one. Put it there. Does that look all right? So it can go a bit straighter. And then turn it around. Put it there. And that way I can stitch that much easier. So what I'll do now is I'll pause the video, do that stitching, and then I'll be back just in time to go and open the door. So I have stitched. It probably took me about 25 minutes to finish it all. I watched More Fabrics, I think her name's Selena. That video was about 25 minutes and I watched that and got it done. So now what I want to do is box my corners. So what I need to do here, the easiest way I find, oh, that is not a square, is it? That is, I think just about that much. I don't know what measurement, what is it? 1/2 inch. You draw your little squares. Oh wait, no, I need to do it to my stitched bit. So where my stitching is, that's where I need my square to start. So draw that on there. Draw it on here. So on my stitched, which is about there. So the other part of my square is the stitching here and here. Flip it over and do the same on the other side. Just a minute. I need to have it like that. Hopefully I'm not off screen. That should be right. Okay, and then do the same here on your corners. So lining it up on my stitching, my stitch lines, bring it around here. And this one I didn't do any stitching, so that's why I'm lining it up with the edge. I need to sharpen my pencil. Do it on this other side and you'll see why in a minute. I don't normally, like when I was making pouches, I used to just do them on one side and wing it and line up my seams. But if you've never done it before, it's probably best if you draw your little squares on your corners on both sides. So on my stitch line here and on the edge, because there's no stitching, that's where the fabric's folded. Okay, then what you do is you open it up and you get your corners like so, flatten it out, and I might just fold that over and put 2 pins in, and we're going to stitch across there. This is how you get the box corners. And then the same here. Which way did I send my seam? That way. So we'll make sure you open it out nice and flat, and then like that. And then you just stitch across your line. So we'll do this one. This one I might open up the seam just because it's really chunky. I might open it up. Otherwise I'd be stitching through 6 layers, because that would be double, then that side, and then again the 2 on the other side. So just pull it out so it sort of flattens. You can open this up, because that I'm going to cut the excess off. Let's put the pins on this side. Let's turn it around. Okay, and then we're just going to do the little back stitch across there. Here's my needle, here's my thread. So I'll do this one. Well, actually I'll do it all. It won't take too long. So I'm just going to do an extra stitch around that edge there, just to be sure. It's not like it's a handbag, it's just a pouch for carrying things. So if it were a handbag, I'd be machine stitching, because it'll be stronger than this. Although, you know, in the old days they used to hand stitch everything. We know that. I've gone quiet. I was thinking about Selena. I was thinking if I ever get to Florida, I would go and visit her. I have no idea where she is. I think she said she's in northern Florida. I think it's a pretty big state and hot. Okay, so that's one done. I'll just leave my threads a bit longer. Now what I do then, I leave a seam allowance and just trim across there. See, I've left a seam allowance, and that's how you get your squared off corners. Well, that's how I do it anyway. Do this one. Just putting in that extra stitch there. Take this out because it's pretty chunky. Just making sure my stitches are tight and smallish. Okay. And then trim that one off. I probably didn't go very straight, but it doesn't matter. Get rid of that bulk. And then when you turn it around, oops, I'm stuck. This is what you get. Not too bad. And you get this nice shape like that. See? Isn't that lovely? Very happy with that. Now, doesn't matter which is the front and back. This, I need to stitch this on. Let's just do a more or less. So my pouch is about 15.5 stitched in the length. So add on a couple, maybe add on a 1/2 inch on either side. And that's how big it is. And so I've got 2 there, and 2, a bit more than 2 there. So I need to just bring it over. Now I'm going to not like put it up flush, but have it a bit further down because it's going to come up and over the binding. So I'm going to lose a bit of real estate with it. So that's what I need to do here. So pin that. And that. Now this, I'm just going to do a quick stitch along the edge. And I also need to square off my other corners. They won't take as long because it's not as thick. So this here. So I put the right side on the right side because that's going to come over and around. So I'm just going to do a quick running stitch because it's going to be covered when I stitch my other bit. I think that's how it's going to work. Because the fabric is the cut velvet is so lovely, I'm not, as I mentioned earlier, embellishing it. I'm just going to have this. And I have some really beautiful ones like of these, but this one, I think it was a color thing too. It's a only slightly less elaborate one than some of the others, but it was the colors I felt like were right. So a quick running stitch just to hold it in place. I feel like it's moving. I'll quickly do those and then we'll look at putting the lining in. Okay, just going to knot that. Okay, let's quickly do our corners here. These won't take long because it's just linen. It will go, the needle goes through very nicely. That was more of a struggle. Not a struggle, just tougher on my hands. See how quick this is going now. I'm going to go do an extra stitch there. Okay, that's that. Trim this off, leaving a seam allowance, about 1/4 of an inch. Then I was going to use the pink, and then I thought, oh, I might like the neutrals. I could have used the pink too. My soft pinks and with a little bit of green would have been nice in there. Okay. Just do a few extra stitches there. It's honestly such a whopper of a needle, but I like it. I like longer needles. I've got a tangle, but it doesn't matter, it's knotted. And trim. Okay. Next, so what I need to do is turn this one inside out, oh, so pretty, look at that. Okay, and that is going in. No, I didn't need to turn it inside out, silly. That way. I'm going to put those corners into there and those corners into there. Good. I just want to make sure you get them in there so it's sitting nicely, and I've got way too much here, but what I want to do, just make sure it's all in there. In and in. I'm going to pin. I think I'll start here and have line up my seams. Might even open that. There. I'm going to pin it. And to make my life easier, I'm just going to quickly stitch around with a running stitch around the top to hold it all in place. And then it will be easier to maneuver it when I roll down the top. I may have to trim some off, I'm not sure yet. When I roll down the top, it'll be easier. Okay, come around here. It's a little bit fiddly because it's so big. I'm pretty much going to stitch along the line where I stitched on the doily. I had intended for the doily to be down a bit lower, but it seems to have moved up higher. And put another pin in. then I'll show you what I'm going to do, but then I'll do it off camera. So I'm going to grab my thread. I'm just going to start from here and do a nice big running stitch. It doesn't even have to be small or anything like that, just to hold it in place so that I can then, I think I've got a bit of bunching here, just a sec. Okay, roll down my top, take that off, even bigger. Oh wait, I shouldn't go so big because you can see it on that side. No, I need to be neater. I forgot about that. I need to be a little bit neater, guys. Sorry, Dory, sorry. Yes, a little bit neater. Not that small, but because it kind of blends in, but not huge dog's teeth. No, I thought I could do huge dog's teeth and I can't. I'll show you. You can just see it, yeah. It's okay. It's actually not taking me that long. Couple of more stitches and then I'll end that off. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that. A few dog's teeth stitches, those ones are all right, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've stitched it all around. You can hardly even see the stitches. And then this I think I'm going to fold it down like that and then stitch it like that, so it looks like it's a binding. That's what I intend on doing, but I think it may be too big. So I know my stitches will probably come undone. So that side, I'm just going to wing it. Oh, I don't have any stitches on that side, so that's good. I'm just trimming off a little bit because there's too much. That's better. Doesn't have to be perfect. So what I want to do is fold it down to there. I probably should iron it. And then fold it down again, like so. Let's pin it. So the writing will go upside down, but it doesn't matter. That is typical of me, to have upside down things. Okay, we'll just trim off that bit there. Very, very simple. I need that to come down to there. and we'll have a look at it and see how it's looking. So this is the front. And I probably will pull out my iron afterwards and iron that so it sits nicely. But look at that. And then inside it's like this. And now this is going to fold up, and I might put in a few stitches there, and then it just is going to hang over the top. I could stitch something onto it and wrap around, but I don't think I will. I'll see how it goes, but that's what it's going to look like. So just to show you how I'm going to end this off, get a nice long piece. Now you could use like a pink thread or a green thread so that you could see it, but I think I'll just use this. And then all you're doing is a little kind of, in inverted commas, invisible stitch, because I probably won't be that invisible. Come up in there, tuck your knot in, and then you want to catch this like you were doing a binding. But stitching it on first really makes life so much easier. And I don't think it matters if you go through all the layers or just one layer. Stabbed myself. It's a very big pouch, but the journal is quite long. Let's just finish off this thread. I should get mostly across the front here, and then you'll be able to have a better idea of how it's looking. I actually don't mind the thought of catching the lining. You can hardly see the stitches, just because it just makes it sort of sit better too. So I'll give you the measurements of the pouch. It's quite big afterwards. Oh, there's some areas that are tougher. Gosh, nearly halfway. A little bit thick here. Now when I come to the flap there, I want to make sure I go right through to the velvet, because otherwise that will lift. Ow. Oh, I know what I might put on. I'm just thinking. So I don't actually have to stitch. I'm having a thought. I have some beautiful brooches. I might pin it closed. So I'm just making sure I go right through. So I'm even going right through to the lining, so I'm sure. A little bit thick in bits. I'm just going to finish my thread. I can finish the rest off camera, but I want to grab my brooches and see. One more stitch. Then my hand needs the rest. I'll finish the rest off afterwards. Okay, so isn't that lovely? I think that is gorgeous. And I like it because you can really see the fabric in there. It's not hidden because it's not a deep bag. Let's do the measurements before I forget, and then I want to find a brooch. So it is 7 inches tall and about 14 inches wide. Now, just wait 1 second. I have been collecting blingy bits for quite some time, and this is a lovely cut velvet bag I got at a market in town. Not a market, it was a festival, and there was a stall there, and I've got brooches in here, good guys. And gosh, that's beautiful. That might be too much. And a lady makes them. I'm looking for one that's going to be the right colors. They're earrings. I bought these with the specific thought of doing hearts, but I'm trying to find one. I might not have one that's appropriate. Those are earrings. They're not going to be any good, aren't they? They're incredible. It's blue. That's no good. It's beautiful, but blue. Green. No, not the right color. Oh. Don't tell me I don't have one. Well, that one would do. That's very old. Oh, what's this? Nope, more of those. This one? That would be, oh, now that's beautiful, isn't it? No point in hoarding all these things. Okay, I think that's it. What's this one? Oh, that's gorgeous, but it's little. It's not proportional. Okay. These things do need to come out and play, don't they? And I think I've got more in another box somewhere. Anyway, I've been collecting them for years, guys, and not using them. So this is what I'm going to do to... I have to finish stitching it. See what I mean? Like if you don't catch it right through, that's going to lift. See, that's caught. I'm not going to stitch that. It's just going to go like that. And then there. And then this old, incredibly beautiful old brooch. I think it goes that way. I will... Oh my goodness. It's easier said than done. When I put the thing in, I'm going to have that there to close it, like so, like grandma's pouch. Yeah. Okay, so that is it. I'm going to finish stitching that. I'm ready to put the journal in, and we'll have that lovely old brooch on it. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Bye.